Hi, everybody. It's Pastor Mike. I want to say a few words about the worship series that is starting this Sunday. It's just going to be for a couple of weeks, but it's real important, and I hope you'll be with us. We're calling it Race and Grace. Because right now, as you know, race and racism is dominating the news, our attention. The killing of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd have moved this topic to the forefront of our national attention. Protests, riots, lots of talk, often right past one another. Well, what does all this mean for us as followers of Jesus? We had to ask that question when COVID-19 and the lockdown hit, and we're still asking that question. But we spent 6 weeks talking about it, focusing on it with our series. Well, that was unexpected. We have to talk about this as well. And this may be a more difficult conversation. How do I respond to all of this as a Christian, as a follower of Jesus? Now, on the one hand, it's pretty simple, isn't it? Racism is evil, sin is wrong, a denial of Christianity on numerous levels, most significantly, a denial of the gospel itself and our creation in God's image. But on the other hand, it's not so simple. You see, as we know, Jesus calls us to love our neighbor, right? All of our neighbors, no matter the race, gender, ethnicity, lifestyle. But how do I love my neighbor? How do I know how to love my neighbor if I don't know their story, their struggles, their pain, their hopes, their fears? So this is what's been on my mind and in my heart, in my prayers this past month. And I've been struggling with what to say and how to say it. I mean, I know the theology, but I don't know racism as a victim. I've never experienced it. And if I love my neighbor, if I want to show love for my neighbor who has, I have to hear them. So I've been talking to my friends and family members who are African American, biracial, and I've been trying to listen to them. And I'm not proud to say that even though these people are friends, family, I've never asked them about this topic. Now I have. And I am so thankful to these friends of mine, not only for these great conversations that we've had, at times difficult and with tears, but they have graciously let me record part of our talk to share with you to help us all along this journey together. So let me introduce them, because you're going to meet them and hear their words. This is Phyllis. Now, I don't remember not knowing Phyllis. Her family was one of the only black families at the church I went to growing up and at my school, and she was at our house. And one of my sister Marie, some of you know Marie, she's been out to visit us a number of times. Marie, one of her best friends. Phyllis was at my mom's funeral. And that meant a lot. But I never asked her what it was like at our church, school, my hometown. So I did. And there's Rene. Rene is my cousin. Her mom is my dad's youngest sister, and I've known Rene her whole life. She's been here to Napa, to St. John's. I did the wedding for her older brother at St. John's about 20 years ago. And you see that picture. She's holding a little ultrasound picture. She and her husband, Ian, just announced yesterday that they're expecting their first child. But I had never asked her what it was like being part of our family. And then there's Cheryl and Richard. Cheryl is a friend from my engineering days, one of Teresa's friends, actually, who became one of my friends through her. I'll tell Sunday how we got reconnected after 30-odd years. It's definitely a God thing. But she and her husband, Richard, they've been high-level executives in aerospace and oil and gas, and they have a story too. We talked about it. And then there is Alexander. I should say the Reverend Dr. Alexander Whitfield. He's pastor of Hope Lutheran in Virginia. Alexander and I got to know each other 15 years ago when we were in the Pastoral Leadership Institute together. And he and his family have been out to our house. He took them up Valley, had a great time together. And now we see each other every year at Best Practices. Here's a picture from this past February. And Alexander and I having lunch together. So we've been friends. He's a good friend. But we've had a couple of conversations lately that we've never had before. So this Sunday and the next Sunday, you're going to have a chance to hear from them, their experiences, their hopes, their walk with the Lord. What does it mean for them as Christians? Because they're all followers of Jesus. But most of all, our goal is to hear from God. And my prayer is that our ears and our hearts are open to His Spirit as we seek to follow Him. Our theme this Sunday is loving my neighbor who is different from me. It all starts with listening. I hope you join us this Sunday, 9:30.